Well, welcome everybody. I appreciate you being here. I just wanted to have a very casual conversation about parenthood, you all being in the mix with all of that. And I really wanted to gain your thoughts on what parenthood is like for you as professionals and what challenges you face and so forth. So we're going to make lots of mistakes through this video. I want it to be very authentic. I don't want a scripted video in any way, shape, or form. So no pressure. Just share your thoughts and your feelings on anything that we touch on. And I think we'll begin with parenthood. Obviously we have moved beyond the stages of diapers and bottles and no sleep, and we're into those school age years. So I would love to hear some of your thoughts on just parenthood in general. What is it like for you? What challenges does it bring? And if you want to share any of your insights with the group, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I can get started. My name is Lacey and I'm in medical sales. And so most mornings I'm gone and out of the house before my kids even wake up. And so all we have together is our evenings, and our nights together are really important. And that's how we spend our family time. My husband works weekends, so Monday through Friday is a really important family time. And so those 5 days are important to not selfishly want to do homework. I don't want to spend the evenings doing homework with my kids. We always joke I'm in sales. Math isn't my strong suit, so I don't really want to.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I don't want to do math homework, and so we're part-time at Rise, and it's such a perfect balance. I'm able to see what's going on and do help with homework a couple nights a week, but those 2 nights that we're not doing homework, I'm able to cook dinner and have dinner as a family and sit down with the kids and get outside and do some things that we're making memories together versus that hassle of getting after them about getting their homework done.
Awesome. What other challenge do you face? Obviously, I won't put words in your mouth, but what kind of things do you have on your plate, I guess, after school?
All right, I can go. My name's Brooke. I'm in real estate, so I have 3 kids that attend here, and I have an unpredictable schedule. Everyone that wants to see houses is typically at night, so at times them coming here and doing their homework and not knowing when I'm going to have a showing or something like that. Or sometimes actually I do call up here and be like, hey, they only go 1 hour. Can I pick up an extra hour or something? And if they have availability, we definitely do that, which makes me feel better than just taking them one place and putting them somewhere else and then doing their homework. So it really does provide that flexibility that I need within my schedule. And my kids love it, so they never actually want to go home with me anyway. So it doesn't feel like they're doing homework. It's more of a chore to get them in the car than it is outside of that.
Mrs. Searles, I'm going to put you on the spot, and I just thought of this, honestly, because you and I have chatted quite a bit through email and things like that lately about extracurriculars, because your girls are in those. Will you add that piece to the puzzle? Because obviously that's something that many of us are dealing with.
Hi, yes, I'm Desire Searles. I'm a BCBA, so Board Certified Behavior Analyst. I work with kids with autism, and I do have a 11-year-old and a 6-year-old. So my 11-year-old right now currently is and multiple different activities. We have cheer, cross country, band, many different things. So I'm constantly messaging him, telling him like, okay, can she come this day? Oh no, she has practice till 4 to 5 this day. Oh wait, they canceled her. Can she come randomly this day? So I've been really appreciative of being able to have the service and having the ability to be so flexible with changing the hours, or you being able to take her or take, even my little one on days where I'm not able to leave work early to pick them up and bring them here and travel, which is a lot, especially when I'm working constantly.
Sure. So, that's kind of where Rise hopefully comes in. We, when we first started Rise, I was in the classroom and I saw this need on a daily basis. I saw hardworking parents that were trying to be high performers, but they were also trying to be wonderful parents at the same time. And then I saw my little ones that were, you could see them, the look on their face when I would say, hey, you got to finish these problems tonight. And, they had the realization, like mom's going to be working late. Who's going to help me? I don't quite get this. So, that's the whole purpose of why we're here. And I would love to hear, honestly, like, how has Rise helped you as professional parents? Has it made it easier when it comes to the homework piece or test prep or projects?
Yeah, I don't mind jumping in. Amanda, I've got two sons that attend RISE. Riley is a 6th grader, he's 12 years old, and Jordan's a 4th grader, so he's 9 years old. And my husband and I both have traditional schedules. What I mean by traditional schedules, like Monday through Friday during the day. So consistency and reliability was super important to us. So an hour here, hour there doesn't work for our situation. I needed before care, after care, and through the summer as well to make sure that we can be to work when we need to be there. So RISE has worked really well for us in that. Both of the boys are really active outside of school as well. So they play a lot of different sports. So every season we're in season, pretty much. So for me, the biggest benefit of RISE, I like to think I'm a pretty self-aware person, and I'm very confident to say teaching 6th grade and 4th grade math is not it for me either. My sons both appreciate when I do not, and it's been a great experience. I know with confidence that they're getting what they need during the school year with regards to homework, because we're running around to all the other things that we need to get to, but also in the summer slump is real, and I remember summers where I bought all the workbooks and I put them all together to make sure they were getting all the subject, and I'm trying to be a teacher and I'm failing miserably. And I don't have that anymore. I can focus on the summer and the time in the evenings.
Just enjoy.
And we can just be a family. And that's been the biggest blessing for us coming over to RISE. Yeah.
Can I just piggyback on that really quick? For me, and I talked to you about this in the beginning from, the inception of RISE, finding somewhere safe for our kids was huge for me. I'm a panicker, I'm a worrier, I try not to be, but I was very worried, especially when I just had one going to school. I was really worried about what is the check-in process, what is the busing situation. I always promised myself I wouldn't make my kids ride the bus if they didn't want to. And here she is riding the bus, begging to ride the bus to RISE so she can get off. And I know the check-in process is safe, and that if she doesn't make it here, Trevor's gonna call me. And I have no worries at 4:00 on my RISE days that those are my days to go home and make dinner or run to the grocery store or work late. Quite frankly, I don't mind. And so it buys me some extra time, and I know that they're safe. There's not a worry at 4:00 that I'm going, where are the kids? Did they make it? I know they're safe and in good hands.
Yeah, before RISE was here and in Midland as well, you've got limited options for kids. And all of these places, they're trying really hard. They're doing their best. Schools try to provide an option, but undoubtedly the teachers are busy, so they can't do it. So you're hiring in maybe college kids or maybe high school kids that are not experts at supervising and caring for kids. And then, you might have a center or two. In the same way, they can't afford, professionals to be working with the kids. So you're getting high schoolers sitting on their cell phones, kind of peeking over at kids, and it's just not a great option. And then obviously we wanted to pull in the academic piece. Anthony, when we first met, I was super impressed by the fact that you were very academic driven. You wanted the best for your son as he's getting into these school age years, and you wanted, you wanted him to be developing and becoming the best version of himself. So I want to pull you in and see, ask your opinion on what made you choose RISE and the decisions you made.
Absolutely. Hello, my name's Anthony. I work in finance, so math is my forte. But finding an after-school program for my son, I have one 7-year-old that attends RISE currently. And we've actually only been part of the RISE family now for about 6 weeks, but it has been absolutely life-changing for my wife and I because we have very demanding jobs, and being a parent is tough enough. I would like to describe our days as constant chaos by and large with a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, and knowing that my son has a safe place to go, as all of us has mentioned, is very important. But I've always considered myself to be an academic junkie, and I always feel that academics is something that no one can ever take away from you, and that it is going to build a solid foundation in future. But what I've appreciated about RISE is that the staff and the other children. They're treated in many ways like adults to some degree, meaning they're held to a much higher standard. And my fear was, with this being my son's first year in a new school, that he's always going to pick up habits because they're so influential at this day and age. And by coming to Rise, he's building healthier habits, and he's learning the essentials of respect and empathy and care. And those are the things for my wife and I that we try to instill in our children each and every day, but knowing that it's being done by other individuals is very helpful. But the fact that that academic piece is done, and I know I would sit down and do the homework with my son, but I don't know where my level of patience might be, because I, in many ways, demand success, if you will. And I think that, and that's how my parents were with me, but the fact that it is coming from somebody else and seeing how quickly he's growing, and the fact that he's in a bigger school this year, and Trevor and the staff are already recognizing where my son is excelling or where additional work needs to be put in. And that's very helpful, knowing that when I come home, I can pick up my son and we can enjoy the evening with my wife and my daughter, and that homework piece is taken care of. So I'm very grateful to Trevor, because I called kind of panicky, wanting to get into this program desperately bad, and there happened to be a spot. So I'm very thankful for that, and it's been awesome.
Great. And your comment about the demanding excellence and wanting excellence out of your son, it kind of reminded me of my favorite story personally as a Rise parent as well, because both my girls attend. My wife is much smarter than me. She is, your classic valedictorian 4.0 type of individual, and so very, very smart and capable. And one night we came home, and my oldest daughter had an extracurricular, and so she couldn't come here and get her things done. And so mom was going to help with math at the kitchen table. And I actually got to kick my feet up and not do the homework piece myself. So, I turned the football game on, I kick my feet up, and they get started. And it was about 3.5 minutes before the arguing and bickering started back and forth. And no, this is how you do it. And no, that's not how my teacher wants us to do it. And it turned into this, not so pleasant scene. And I started laughing, and my wife was not in a state to handle that laughing. She wasn't very in a good mood, and she's hearing me laugh. And she looks at me and says, "What is so funny?" And I said, "That's why Rise exists right there." And, then all of a sudden it kind of hit her. But, we as professionals, yes, obviously we have degrees and we're intelligent and all that stuff. So, but nowadays the curriculum is being delivered in a different way, and it's constantly evolving, and we have to be experts at how it's evolving and changing. And obviously, you're not coming through elementary schools or middle schools anymore, so you don't necessarily see that. So you might want to teach it one way, and then that might conflict with the way it's being taught in the classroom. So that's part of what we do as well. Just to finish up, Mrs. Chesney, I'm going to pull you in. So your daughter is one of my favorite success stories. So I'm going to let you fill us in on her age and everything. But one of my favorite stories in that she's been with us from the very beginning, and to see her evolve and grow has been such a blessing. So I'll let you speak next.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Christy. I have been here, like Trevor said, from the very beginning. And I have a little bit, of a unique story, I guess, in the fact that I have an older son who has a lot of learning disabilities, medical issues, memory issues. I would have loved a program like this for him when that was happening. I struggled and I learned very quickly. I am not a teacher. No way could I have the patience or the knowledge, and they did math like I used to do math back then. So, but I just learned right away, there's no way. Well, then I had my two littles, who are not so much little anymore, but Emma, who is 11, and then Ethan, who's 12, both started here. And it's not necessarily that they, needed it like my oldest, but they needed it. They needed somewhere where they could get the extra help that I knew I couldn't do it. And at the time, I was in nursing leadership. I was working a ton of hours, not really the standard 12-hour shifts like regular nurses do, but still a lot of hours. And I wanted my time with my kids. I'm a single mom as well. And I just knew that a place like this could be successful for her and for Ethan at the time, just simple, to get homework done, even if they knew what they were doing and didn't need help, just some place where somebody would help check them in. And
And Emma has come a long way. Ethan kind of graduated out of the program, but I was worried about taking him out because, he was going into the older grades where they have lots more homework and it gets harder. And Trevor never even for a second hesitated to tell me, if you think he needs it, I will find him a place. Like, that's so reassuring as a parent, right? To know that you have somebody in the community who I see Trevor at the grocery store. I see Trevor at football games. Like, my kids know him as Trevor. Like, it's just a really good community effort as well for us. So, but he thankfully hasn't needed it, thus far but now I work from home and he can just come home with me. But there are times when we're at home and I'm like, maybe I should have sent him there. But with Emma, yeah, she has grown so much. She has learned so much. The teachers really spend time with them. They check in with us all the time. Trevor checks in with us all the time. They have conversations with Emma's teachers and her, with some of her specials that she has that maybe she might need a little tweaking on. They'll touch base with those teachers. I mean, where else do you get that? You don't. We, at the very beginning of their schooling career, did the before and after school program through the school, and they were fine. It was fine, but it wasn't getting this level. And this is just the next level where you can really, like everybody has said, make sure our kids are in a place that's safe. When COVID was happening, Trevor had a plan, and my kids came here for when he had that plan, because where else what was I going to do? I didn't want them to miss out on schooling. Trevor had a plan. I know if that happened again, he'll have a plan. And I would not hesitate. We've done the summer program. Loved it, because I'm the same with you. I got the books, I got the things, and I'm trying my darndest to get them to do it, but it just doesn't, it's not as much. Because if you're so true, it's so true. They do lose a lot in the summertime. As much as I love having them home in the summertime or not in school, that's a big help. We've done the before, we've done the after. I've utilized every service. You do Halloween dances and Valentine's dances. You did a Valentine's dance during COVID. It was all the rules were applied. But guess what? I got to dance with my son and my daughter for having a little bit of fun during this time when it was so shut down and nobody was having fun. So this isn't, for me, just education or just one thing. Probably like everybody else here, though. It's such a multifaceted building that encompasses so much for our family. And I don't know what I would do without it looking now. I'm so blessed to have this here in the community. They meet so many people. There's because of the age ranges too. It's kind of neat that they all come in one building and they get to know each other. So then they see other kids in the hallways, and that builds relationships within the community.
But they start a new sport and they're scared because maybe their best friend isn't doing it with them.
Yes.
But then they get there and they have a whole nother group of friends that they met here and different ages.
And they see him in the community too. They'll see him at the homecoming parade, or they'll see him at a football game or whatever it happens to be. And they're like, I know that kid. I feel safe with that kid. That kid's, especially when you guys have younger kids, seeing with the older kids, that's very intimidating, so.
No, I agree. That's something I piggyback on relationships. We actually, a couple years ago, I think it was, we went to Florida randomly, in a February. We're like, we're going to go to Universal Studios. And we're at this resort, literally not on the campus of Universal, so random resort. And my son at that time, I believe, is the only one that attended. And we're sitting by the poolside, and Hudson's like, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so from Rise. And we're like, okay, sure, whatever. Because we're in the middle of February. And we're like, sure. And then he's still waving at him, and then all of a sudden parents are walking across, and we're like, maybe he's being serious. Maybe somebody is from Rise here. This is so weird. So then they come over, they're like, oh, my son was just telling me we go to, I think, Swan Valley, right? Then he goes, yeah, we go to Swan Valley and Hudson, and they go to Rise. I can't believe we saw each other. It was so cool. We took a picture, and we're like, it doesn't matter where you go. You're going to run into some friend, even if it's from a different school. They were in totally different grades, but they had a relationship from Rise. And we're in the middle of Florida, not even on spring break. Who would have thought this situation would have happened? But it's a fun story of ours.
That's definitely something we always talk. You hear, every email you receive, it's Hey Rise Fam or Hey Rise Family. We want a family atmosphere at every one of our locations. And I think we should cut off before I tear up. You guys are you're hitting home for me. But no, I think you perfectly articulated, obviously on the spot. So thank you for that. I didn't give you much warning, but But thank you for sharing all your thoughts about Parenthood and Rise and all the kind words, and appreciate you being here and being part of this.
Well, we really appreciate the fact that you have this here. Like, I can, we're all right. We wouldn't, we very much appreciate the fact that you brought this here, that you had this ingenious idea of doing this, and that you're actually then, continuing it into other communities for other parents to benefit is really life-changing for all of us and our kids. So
And it's helped a little bit for us parents to network as well. So it's helped of different events seeing our kids here. So that's kind of been a huge factor.
If I could just share one additional thing that's been a big observation of mine is that my son loves video games like most 7-year-olds. And when I first came here and I saw the facility, I'm thinking to myself as an adult, wow, I would love to be at a place like this. And my son after day one, comes home and he says, oh, I can't wait to play all these video games and do all these things, because we did like an orientation, just kind of tour of the facility at that point in time. And I thought to myself, well, Bennett's just going to play video games every day because that's what he loves. And ironically, he doesn't play video games really at all, which is interesting to me here. So he always comes home, and first thing I ask him every day when I pick him up is, tell me about your day. It's always like an open-ended question for him. He's like, well, I was in the summit, and I did all these different things at Rise, and it has nothing to do with the school he's actually at. So I told Trevor one time, it's kind of like judging babysitters. When my kids are excited when a babysitter arrives, then I know they did well, and if my house is a mess, I know they just didn't give them their tablets. It's the same thing with Rise, in the sense that I pick up my son and I know that he's sweaty from running around in the summit, and he's being a kid and a boy and enjoying life. And to me, those are the memories that he's going to have about a facility like this. So thank you, because I just think from a community standpoint, when you think of having a higher purpose, I guess, in life, is that you're being very transformational in the communities that you serve. Because as a parent trying to find an after-school program that was going to fit our lifestyle, I vetted a number of them, and this is by far something that I am like Johnny Appleseed telling everybody I know about this place.
Yes, I agree with you, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very unique offering, right? It's not daycare, it's not tutoring, it's not a rec center, it's all of those things, right? So I think it was truly an untapped need in the community that just makes it stronger.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing is, for me, one of my kids do have learning disabilities, and for me, at that point, right before I came to Rise, my daughter had just got diagnosed with 3 different types of diagnoses, so it was a lot for me. And so I had her enrolled in many different programs, trying to get her in a dyslexic center. I'm paying for tutoring outside. We also have after school I'm paying for. So I'm paying money everywhere just to help her, and buying all the different curriculums I can find as possible. So once I was able to bring both of my children here, they both have excelled socially, which was the biggest impact. They have friends. I know your kids, and they've excelled emotionally too, which is the biggest thing. Is they have so much more confidence, and I did well, and that's been my biggest praise for bringing them here, and it's helped save me a lot of peace of mind too, just to have them one place that they can come to meet all those needs. Yes, thank you.
That's not what this was supposed to be about, but thank you very, very much. I appreciate all the kind words, and we'll wrap it up with that.